following program is a student production, produced by Manchester High School's broadcast journalism class. The thoughts and opinions in this program do not necessarily match the views of the town of Manchester.
Coming up on this edition of Manchester Monthly,
a new exhibit at MCC on Main highlights one of Manchester's most prominent traditions.
we investigate one of Manchester's oldest local businesses,
And more than 1 year after the devastating fire on Main Street, we have a follow-up on the Harvest Bread Company.
we will have all of that and much more coming up. I'm Pat Levitt.
And I'm Tegan Welch.
This is
Manchester Monthly.
The Manchester Road Race is a well-known tradition that attracts many race contestants from all over the world and spectators that watch the race each year. MCC on Main has unveiled the newest exhibit to the Den Gallery.
MCC on Main, a downtown arts and meeting space provided by Manchester Community College, hosted an exhibit on the Manchester Road Race. The new exhibit chronicles the history of the race and visually documents its changes over the years. The Manchester Road Race is a special Thanksgiving tradition here in town and is a source of many memories for area residents. While the race has grown into a competitive course that features elite runners from around the world, it is also a community event that brings out the Thanksgiving spirit. Manchester High School's own Jeff Thornton had a hand in developing one unique feature of the race. He was one of the first to wear a costume while running.
Manchester Road Race is much bigger than just the road race itself. It's transgressed now into a large community event. People are inspired when they come to Manchester and run their first road race because they see the thousands of people who are just lining the sides, cheering not just for the people that they know, but for everyone. The fast runner, the slow runner, the walkers, the people in costumes, the people who are just doing it for a fun time, the people who are doing it for a great time.
Thornton's costume started a tradition that allowed the community to be involved in the race in a new and unique way. This is part of what makes the Manchester Road Race so special. There's something for everyone, from elite runner to part-time athlete, and it truly brings the community together, and that is what the exhibit displays. The road race also works to bring the community together through its charitable giving of race proceeds. The race's principal charitable cause is to give back to the community, donating thousands of dollars to organizations such as the Mac Food Pantry and towards illnesses like muscular dystrophy. James Balcom, the Manchester Road Race director, believes in the positive impact that the race has on the culture and residents of Manchester.
Everybody bands together on this day and creates this event and gives me just incredible community support. At the end of the day, when the race is over and everything is cleaned up and all the bills are paid, whatever monies are left over, we donate back to the community.
Come on down to MCC on Main and take a look at the road race exhibit now being displayed. From Manchester Monthly, this has been Noah Richards reporting.
The exhibit is bound to attract both art appreciators and runners alike. Clearly, the Manchester Road Race helps to make Manchester so special, and this exhibit only enhances the November tradition.
Woodland Gardens is celebrating their 75th anniversary. We go behind the scenes with Olivia Rude and Josh Medina to figure out the secret behind keeping their loyal customers loyal and growing their business.
Everyone knows that to be a successful gardener, you need not only water and nutrients, but tender care and devotion. The same goes for growing a business over the course of 75 years. Woodland Gardens was established in 1939 and is approaching their 75th anniversary. The establishment continues to thrive off of business from local gardeners and homeowners. Leon Zapadka, now 74, is the current owner of the business, but it was Leon's father, John Zapadka, that first opened Woodland Gardens in 1939. For Leon Zapadka, Woodland Gardens is much more than simply a family business.
That's a way of life. It's a branch of farming, and farming is just like having cows or having crops in the field. It's a 7-day-a-week, 24-hour 24 hours a day job. And basically that's been my life. It's here just about all the time. We have all these greenhouses are alarmed, so even something happens during the night, an alarm will ring at my house or Luke's house or both of our houses, and we're down just to see what the problem is. So it's pretty much a way of life. It's not necessarily an occupation or a job you go to.
We were given the opportunity to have a first-hand look at the operations that take place behind the scenes at Woodland Gardens.
Now, in 2 weeks from now, all those pots are going to be filled. This whole greenhouse will just about be filled in with our Easter lilies. The bulbs come in about second week in December, and we'll pot this whole greenhouse up. We'll put heat in it, and we'll start growing the lilies for Easter time.
Walking through Woodland Gardens gives one an appreciation for the amount of time and planning it takes to run a nursery and garden center.
And this is the area where we do all our propagating. Most of these plants don't have any roots that are on these benches. And we have a mist system that keeps them constantly moist on the top and bottom heat in the bottom that keeps the bottom warm to help initiate the roots. So there's various plants here, and these will go from here into another greenhouse and then from there into the sales house for sale. So it's basically the whole transition of what we do.
Luke Zapadka, Leon's son, and a third-generation Woodland employee, believes that it is more than just great prices that keep customers coming back.
Well, it's quality and customer service. We pride ourselves in both those things. It's knowing our product, because we grow just about everything that we sell. So, we have an intimate knowledge of what's involved with growing those plants, and so basically from start to finish, we're with those plants. So.
It is clear that hard work and dedication are qualities that have helped Woodland Gardens to strive over the years and arrive at their 75th anniversary. From Manchester Monthly, this has been Olivia Rude reporting.
You can be a part of keeping this local business alive and thriving by visiting Woodland Gardens at 168 Woodland Street for all of your gardening needs.
It has been a year since the Great Harvest Bread Company fire, but now they're in the process of building a new store in a new location. Andrew Hurd brings us the story.
This was the scene Saturday night as fire tore through a historic building on Main Street in Manchester, destroying 2 first-floor buildings, including the Great Harvest Bread Company.
Will a devastating fire change the face of Main Street in one local community?
We didn't hear about it until the evening news. My son's mother-in-law called him and said this business was on fire. That was 2 hours after it started. Nobody called us. Dave and his wife came downtown to see what was going on, and when he called me back, he said, "Don't come down here because this is awful."
On the night of October 12th, 2013, tragedy struck the heart of Manchester. The downtown community was shocked to find that a prominent building on Main Street had burnt down. 809 Main Street was home to 2 businesses, Connecticut Valley Coin and the Great Harvest Bread Company, along with the dozens of people that lived in the upstairs apartments. It's been a year since residents and business owners watched the building go up in flames, and a hole remains today as a visual reminder of the loss of this vibrant commercial and residential space. Gene and Dale Roberts owned and operated Great Harvest for 10 years. The Great Harvest Bread Company bakery opened its doors to the Manchester community in 1996 under different ownership, and the Roberts family started out as patrons and fans of the business. When it came up for sale in 2003, they decided to take over the local bakery, and 10 years later were stunned to hear the horrible news.
Stunned, shocked. I really didn't have much emotion for a couple of days. I just couldn't believe it happened. Just stared into space. Extreme shock, yeah. We lost absolutely everything, so just pictures of everything kept popping in my head of things that we had in the store.
Great Harvest Bread Company still remains closed today, but the future is looking bright for the business. Plans for relocation have been underway to open a new bakery in Vernon.
It's on a nice busy street. It has a lot of parking, which is the one thing that we were lacking here. It's in a nice strip with a lot of nice stores that's going to be going in also. And it's a brand new building, not like here where it was a very old building.
The Great Harvest Bread Company wasn't the only business to lose its prime location in the heart of Main Street. Connecticut Valley Coin was able to reopen 5 months later at a new home on Main Street and has so far spent 8 months in its new location.
For the first few days, we didn't know what was going on because the building was still partially there and they were still tearing it down, and we were hoping they were going to recover more stuff than they did. Basically, they recovered nothing except the 2 safes that we had and what was in them. It took us probably 6 months to get up and started again. Downtown coordinator was very helpful. He got us a list of places that we could rent, and we got this one.
Connecticut Valley Coin has risen like a phoenix in the flames, and it is hoped that the Great Harvest Bread Company will find a bright future at their new home in Vernon. From the Manchester Monthly, this has been Andrew Hurd reporting.
Manchester's loss is certainly Vernon's gain. You know, it's sad to see them go, but it's good to see that they're going to be back in business.
Yeah, definitely. But Manchester's charm is what draws area residents to the streets and sidewalks of downtown Manchester. Dominique Mohammed brings us town residents who wish to see changes on Main Street.
Downtown Manchester is not only a place where people can shop and eat, but where they can also explore the hidden beauty within the town of Manchester. We asked local residents what is one thing that you would change to make downtown Manchester more appealing.
The many cultural restaurants that populate the Main Street area offer once a quarter perhaps just kind of an open house in the park or along the sidewalks that might attract some younger people down to the community.
The businesses are hurting in this street, so that's what we need. We need a lot of customers to travel, to come here, drive here, increase the traffic. That's all I can say for one thing.
Make more parks. I mean, I know we have a lot, but I think if we make more parks, like somewhere like more like downtown Manchester, I think a lot of kids would go.
I think they should add like a store where it has like a lot of clothes or like stuff where you could buy hats and shoes, things like that. I think it'd be much more attractive to the young crowd. Bring some people down there.
Business people are scared to come down, park, get out of their cars and come to my business to eat because they are constantly getting harassed by all the homeless people hanging out on the wall.
To make it more kid-friendly. I think we have a lot of youth in the town of Manchester that need a place to go and things to do and a place to hang out. So I'll definitely make it a lot more kid-friendly.
Although some of these ideas sound appealing, the best way to raise awareness is by contacting Tana Parcelletti. The next Manchester Town meeting will be held in December. From Manchester Monthly, this has been Dominique Mohammed reporting.
If you're interested in what's going on downtown, please visit www.imaginemainstreet.com for updates about events and business on Main Street.
Now it's time for your Friday morning trivia question.
And the question is, the Manchester Road Race started in 1927. How many runners first took the part in this Turkey Day tradition? Again, the question is, how many runners took part in the first Manchester Road Race?
And with your teacher's permission, email Mr. Larson at b11elars@mpspride.org. Again, that's b11elars@mpspride.org, and a free breakfast could be on its way to you.
A Manchester legend let Miles Hurley into his home to reminisce about his 40 years of teaching in the community.
For many kids, gym is their favorite period of the day. It's a chance for students to let out their energy built up from a long day of classwork and tests. Like all classes, having a great teacher can make all the difference. Here in Manchester, one great physical education educator was Tom Kelly.
They guaranteed me the job at Illing when it opens in 1960.
He did everything from a golf coach at the high school to a soccer coach at Illing, and he truly left his impact in Manchester.
Father he was a graduate of Bates College, as was my mother, in the early 1920s. He taught 2 years in Manchester, Mass, believe that or not, and then he taught 42 years at Manchester High. So I spent 4 years down there with him, and then he took over my job, and I went to Illing in 1960, stayed till 1990.
Kelly received many accolades for his dedication and commitment here in Manchester, but one of the most fitting honors is a gym named after him at Illing Middle School.
My dad has the baseball field named after him at the high school, and I have the new gym at Illing named after me.
Kelly not only made an impact on the students he taught, but the people he worked alongside of.
Influenced me. I was hired as a golf coach when they had golf teams at Illing Junior High, it was called back in the day. So he hired me as the golf coach and kind of mentored me as to how to coach golf back when I first started.
Kelly's legacy expands outside of Manchester as well.
Outside of education, I was president of the Manchester Sports Hall of Fame for 10 years in the 90s. After school, I was a very highly ranked basketball official in New England, and I worked almost every night.
From award-winning gym teacher to girls basketball coach, Tom Kelly really made an impact on the Manchester public school systems. For Manchester Monthly, this has been Miles Hurley reporting.
Now, before we sign off, we've got a quick commercial for you.
Well, honey, now that you've graduated from college and gotten married, have you given any thought to where you might want to settle down, raise a family?
Wow, I haven't really thought about it.
Well, what do you think you're looking for in a community to settle down in?
We're looking for a place that has a community feel to it and would be a nice place to raise kids.
Well, I think Manchester is exactly what you're looking for. You were raised here and did well by it. You went to Manchester High School, went on to Boston College and graduated and came back here. You have a job. I think it has everything that you would need in looking for raising a family, good educational system, parks and recreational facilities, a very diverse community. I think it's a perfect place to raise a family.
Check out our on-demand news program, The Pulse. Find us every Friday with a new program at www.mhsredline.com.
Construction has taken place by Center Springs Park since the beginning of summer. Isaiah Allgood explains what this project hopes to accomplish.
Since the beginning of summer, renovations have been taking place right by Center Springs Park. Trees were removed next to Edgerton Street, and the pond has been mostly without water. But the main goal of the project is to fix a portion of Edgerton Street, which has been closed for over 5 years. Manchester Director of Planning, Mark Pellegrini, has been involved with the construction project from its onset.
There was also an underground culvert, a pipe that took water from Center Springs Pond and carried it under Edgerton Street, and that pipe a couple of years ago collapsed. So the construction that's going on there is first a replacement of that underground culvert so that the water can move through safely, and then we can reopen Edgerton Street.
Along with fixing the road, it has been confirmed that a pedestrian's entrance to the park from Broad Street will be constructed to give greater access to the area. There were a few variations on the design, including an arch, but the town voted on a steel truss bridge. The existing trail would be mostly unaffected apart from the bridge and the eventual trail. Town engineer Jeff Lumava has great expectations for the new additions.
And it will improve basically pedestrian mobility between the park, between Broad Street. People can take the trails up through Center Springs Park up to the center of town. So I think eventually it's going to be a very well-connected trail.
Within the next few months, there will be lots of progress happening in Center Springs Park. Between the road being fixed and the bridge being built, Manchester has a lot in store. This has been Isaiah Allgood reporting from Manchester Monthly.
Some huge changes are coming to Center Springs, and these changes are coming up quick. Manchester Monthly will be there to document and report on the progress.
Sadly, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Manchester Monthly. From the TV studio, I'm Pat Levitt.
And I'm Tegan Welch.
And that's what's news, Manchester.